Have you ever felt paralyzed by a no that seemed definitive? What if I told you that in fact that no was the best thing that could happen? In this video, you will discover how each rejection can become a stepping stone to your greatness. In this video, I will reveal 40 practical lessons that will shape your mind and change the course of your life. And there's more. We're not just talking about theory. Everything you learn here will be applicable in your routine to overcome challenges and turn things around. Subscribe now to the channel and leave your like, because the more you interact, the more YouTube spreads this transformative video to other people. Every no we receive seems at first glance to be a definitive barrier, but in reality it is a camouflaged impulse. Often it is rejections that force us to step out of our comfort zone and explore new paths. These no's that we encounter, even though they are painful, offer us a chance to reflect and rethink our directions. When we accept no as a signal to reevaluate our choices, it stops being an obstacle and becomes a tool for growth. The no becomes a compass that points us towards different horizons where perhaps we never imagined going. Thus, we learn to value each denial as it contains a hidden invitation for personal evolution. Therefore, seeing no as a chance to start over, rather than as a defeat, is a skill that strengthens our resilience. With this vision, every closed door becomes an opportunity to seek a new and unexpected exit where true progress can occur. We are not always able to immediately interpret the signs that life sends us, but silence and rejection are often ways that destiny finds to guide us. Instead of just resisting this silence, we can listen to it, seeking hidden guidance from it. Stoicism teaches us not to take every rejection as a personal failure, but as a lesson that prepares us for something greater. When someone or something ignores us, instead of fighting back, we can accept that maybe this path wasn't really ours. Every silence and every denial has a reason, and it is up to us to decipher what they want to teach us. This way, instead of insisting on doors that don't open, we can interpret silence as a subtle redirection, something that allows us to focus on what really matters. Wisdom lies in listening to what destiny says, even when it seems silent. Faced with the indifference of others, our first impulse is to want to prove our worth. However, true strength lies in not seeking validation where it will never come. By choosing to ignore those who ignore you, you reaffirm your own worth and regain control over your emotions. Ignoring is not an act of disdain, but a decision to free yourself from the expectations that others impose. When we stop investing in those who treat us coldly, we make room for new relationships that truly value us. This conscious withdrawal is a declaration that you are enough on your own. Those who ignore your presence do not deserve your attention. Directing your energy towards yourself and your own goals is the way to strengthen your self-esteem. So, instead of depending on the acceptance of others, you transform your life into a journey of self-reliance and self-respect. The way we choose to react in the face of adversity reveals the depth of our character. Losing emotional control in moments of rejection is natural, but staying calm is a powerful act that sets us apart. This serenity, far from being weakness, is a sign of maturity. Stoicism guides us not to allow emotions to take the reins, but rather to exercise inner peace. By taking a deep breath and reflecting before reacting, we strengthen our self-control and learn to deal with challenging situations with more clarity. Calm in moments of rejection does not make us passive, but active in our own emotional evolution. Each time we respond with serenity, we cultivate silent strength. This type of response gives us the power to deal with the unexpected and prepares us to deal with greater challenges. Reacting with serenity is the true victory, as it preserves our peace and keeps us focused on our own progress. Feeling hurt after rejection is completely human, But turning that hurt into bitterness is a personal choice. Initial pain is a natural reflection of disappointment, but allowing it to turn into resentment only causes us more wear and tear. In Stoicism, we learn to accept pain as part of the human experience, but we are also told to let it go when it has served its purpose. This active choice of not holding on to resentment allows us to move forward lightly, making room for new opportunities. So, instead of holding on to your sorrows, try to use each moment of pain as a bridge to self-knowledge. Each difficult experience brings learning that is only revealed when we free ourselves from the weight of bitterness. In this way, pain becomes a driving force for our development. The rejections we face in life often serve as unexpected detours that lead us onto more fruitful paths. Like a tree growing around an obstacle to reach the sun, we are also able to redirect our energy and find new routes. Accepting no as a possibility to explore the unknown is one of the keys to personal growth. With each door that closes, new windows open, showing that perhaps that original path was not the most advantageous. It is through rejections that we gain clarity about our true aspirations. Often, what we lose leads us directly to what we really need to find, turning a rejection into a springboard for self-discovery. The best way to deal with rejection is to value and nurture relationships that really matter. Being surrounded by people who recognize and appreciate you creates a foundation of emotional support that strengthens your self-esteem. Instead of wasting energy on those who don't value you, direct your focus to those who really care. Building and cultivating a circle of support not only brings comfort, but also bolsters your self-confidence in times of doubt. With genuine people by your side, the impact of rejections is minimized. Your value is reflected by the love and respect of the people who choose to be close to you, reinforcing that those who really matter are by your side. When someone rejects or ignores us, an opportunity for introspection arises. The silence that takes the place of an answer is an invitation to listen to our own inner voice and evaluate what we really want. This moment of stillness allows us to understand our reactions and emotions without external distractions. Instead of looking outside ourselves for acceptance, we can turn inward, where the truest answers often lie. Silence is not empty, but a space of self-knowledge. It offers us the clarity we need to move forward in a conscious and determined way, even when the outside world seems indifferent. Letting go of external expectations is one of the most important steps towards strengthening self-esteem. When we learn to free ourselves from the need for validation from others, we gain a new sense of freedom and self-sufficiency. This detachment does not mean insensitivity, but rather a conscious choice to focus on what really matters. Respecting yourself is recognizing that you don't need acceptance from others to feel complete. By cultivating detachment, we strengthen our identity and find satisfaction in our own achievements. This process transforms rejection into a milestone for personal growth and teaches us to value who we truly are. The indifference we receive from some people may seem like a challenge, but it is also an opportunity to show resilience. Anyone who can remain firm, even without other people's recognition, demonstrates admirable inner strength. Stoicism teaches us not to depend on external approval to continue our path. Instead of being put off by the coldness of others, use this experience to reaffirm your own qualities and beliefs. Let your strength shine, even when there is no applause. True resilience is built in silence and is proven through actions, showing that you are capable of strengthening yourself in any circumstance. Rejections are inevitable in the life of anyone who sets out to accomplish something significant, but instead of interpreting them as barriers, we can see them as the beginning of a long ladder that leads to success. Every no we receive forces us to hone our skills, reevaluate our strategy, and return with a stronger, more resilient approach. Great achievements are made from countless falls that do not interrupt the path, but pave it. Often, it is rejection that drives us to reach a potential we didn't even know existed. She challenges us to prove to ourselves that we can go further, that no is just a test of our determination and persistence. Each negative is a chance to come back more prepared, to refine our competence, and to get a little closer to our goal. Thus, no stops being an obstacle and becomes a firm step on our journey. Those who achieve success have learned to see rejection as an ally rather than an enemy. It is not the absence of difficulties that takes us to the top, but the way we react to them. Turning each refusal into a learning experience creates a solid foundation for our achievements. True victory is not just in the end result, but in each small overcoming along the way. Closing doors may seem at first like the end of a dream. However, they are opportunities in disguise to reinvent yourself and find new paths. Life often takes us in unexpected ways, taking us away from comfort and challenging us to explore unknown territories. This is the point at which we are forced to rethink our choices, evaluate our strengths, and discover how much we are capable of adapting. Reinvention is not a simple or immediate process. It requires courage, patience, and deep self-knowledge. Each new attempt is a blank page where you can redefine your goals and rewrite your aspirations, opening yourself up to possibilities that previously might not have even crossed your mind. Reinventing yourself is an act of humility and determination, where we accept that changes are necessary to grow. When you allow yourself to seek new directions, you discover skills and potential that may have been hidden. Instead of fighting closed doors, open yourself to new horizons. Be willing to transform your plans and explore the unknown, as it is in this movement that true evolution occurs. Often, when faced with rejection, we feel the need to prove that we are capable, seeking justifications or explanations for our ability. However, nothing is as eloquent as our actions. Instead of words, focus on building something that truly demonstrates your value, allowing your work to be the most powerful answer to other people's doubts. There is unparalleled strength in those who choose to act silently, focusing on their goals without seeking anyone's approval. By working with dedication and consistency, you create an impact that goes beyond words. Recognition, in this case, comes as a natural consequence, without the need for effort to impress. Its results speak for themselves and reach unquestionable value. Letting your actions speak for you is a demonstration of confidence and self-control. Those who know what they want and are focused on their growth do not waste time with discussions or attempts to convince. This is the path of those who earn genuine respect, without forcing approval. Focus on building something solid and let the results be your answer. True confidence depends not on what others think, but on what you feel and believe about yourself. We are often led to seek external approval to feel valid, but this search is an illusion that is never satisfied. The confidence that really matters is the one that comes from within and that remains stable, even when we face rejection. Building self-confidence is an ongoing process, which requires self-acceptance and a realistic assessment of our capabilities and limitations. Stoicism teaches us that we should focus on what we can control, and the opinions of others are not in that control. When you understand this, you begin to build a solid foundation of trust that is not shaken by criticism or lack of recognition. This kind of confidence is not arrogance, but a calm certainty of who you are and what you are capable of. It is reflected in your attitudes, your choices, and your ability to deal with challenges. When you strengthen this inner confidence, you are ready to face any rejection, knowing that your value does not depend on the validation of others. Over time, the pain of rejection may fade, but it is wisdom that transforms this experience into a source of learning. Simply waiting for the pain to pass may not be enough. It is necessary to analyze, reflect, and extract lessons from what happened. Stoicism teaches us to not just accept what happens to us, but to use it as a tool for growth. The wisdom that comes from rejection is profound and lasting, because it teaches us more about ourselves, our reactions, and what we truly value. Reflecting on our painful experiences gives us clarity to make better choices in the future, transforming what could be a bitter memory into a guide to personal development. Therefore, do not see time as a passive healer, but as an ally that, together with wisdom, can change the way we see adversity. When rejection is interpreted as a lesson, it stops being an obstacle and becomes an impulse that guides us and makes us more prepared for what is to come. When we face rejection, our emotional energy often dissipates into frustration, doubt, and self-criticism. This wear and tear can be a heavy burden, but the key is to redirect that energy into something constructive. The time and effort you spend trying to understand rejection can be channeled into improving your skills, strengthening your goals, and expanding your knowledge. By redirecting this energy towards your development, you shift your focus from what is out of your control to what is in your hands. Rejection then becomes a source of motivation to improve in areas you may not have considered before. This process of investing in yourself not only strengthens your self-esteem, but also increases your value and attracts new opportunities. The energy you direct towards your growth not only helps you overcome the present moment, but also prepares you to face future challenges with more resilience. By turning rejection into a force for progress, you prove to yourself that you are capable of reinventing yourself whenever necessary, regardless of what others think. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that other people's opinions define our value, but this is an illusion that only limits us. When someone doesn't recognize your worth, it says more about that person's limited perspective than about who you really are. Stoicism teaches us that we should have a firm view of our own worth, independent of the views of others. The value you carry is built through your experiences, your achievements, and the qualities you cultivate throughout your life. Don't be swayed by the opinions of those who don't have the ability or desire to see what you offer. Trusting yourself and your potential is the first step to living up to your own standards, without worrying about external validation. By strengthening this internal perception of value, you become resistant to rejection and immune to opinions that try to diminish you. This self-confidence is a fortress that protects you from external influences and allows you to follow your path with conviction, knowing that your value is innate and unshakable. In a noisy world, where we seek answers outside of ourselves all the time, silence becomes a powerful tool for self-knowledge. When we face rejection, this pause allows us to process our emotions and look within for direction for the next step. Silence, far from being empty, is a space where we find clarity and purpose. When we silence ourselves, we can listen to our intuition and our true needs. Instead of focusing on what others think, silence allows us to understand what really matters to us. This contact with our essence helps us make decisions that are more aligned with who we are, without letting ourselves be carried away by external pressures. By embracing silence, we cultivate the inner peace necessary to face any challenge with serenity. He teaches us to listen to our inner voice and trust our own judgment. This process not only strengthens our resilience, but guides us along a path of self-sufficiency and self-confidence. Rejection presents us with a choice: remain in the discomfort or cultivate the resilience that will allow us to move forward. Every challenge is an opportunity to build that inner strength, to develop an ability to rise up in the face of adversity and continue moving forward. Resilience is like a muscle that strengthens with each difficulty faced and overcome. Actively seeking new challenges prepares us emotionally to better deal with rejections as we become more adaptable and confident. Each difficult experience we face contributes to our mental and emotional resistance, teaching us that we are capable of facing the unexpected with calm and courage. By developing this skill, rejection stops being a fatal blow and starts to be seen as a springboard. Resilience allows us to turn every difficulty into a lesson, and each lesson into a firm step towards our personal growth. In this way, each challenge accepted is an investment in our future. Constantly seeking approval from others is a trap that leads to frustration and dissatisfaction. External validation is a vicious cycle that is never fulfilled, as there will always be someone whose approval we cannot achieve. Stoicism teaches us that true satisfaction comes from firm and unshakable self-acceptance, which does not depend on the opinions of others. When we stop seeking external validation, we gain powerful freedom. We release the pressure to please everyone and start focusing on what really brings us happiness. This focus on our own worth, rather than the opinions of others, frees us to live authentically and helps us build confidence that won't waver. The road to self-reliance is one that leads us to an inner peace that cannot be achieved through external validation. When we recognize our value without waiting for others to confirm it, we find a solid foundation of happiness and fulfillment that no or other people's opinion can shake. When we face rejection, we feel a knock on our self-confidence, but at the same time, we are called to look within and rediscover who we really are. Rejection challenges us to rethink our motivations, our values, and what we truly want. This process of reflection can lead us to a new perspective, revealing aspects of ourselves that were hidden or dormant. Every no we hear is a chance to evaluate whether we are on the right path or whether we are simply following something out of convenience or the desire for external approval. This moment of pause allows us to reformulate our goals and align our efforts with what really makes sense for us. Rediscovering yourself, therefore, is finding the courage to reinvent yourself without depending on the recognition or validation of others. In every experience of rejection, there is a seed of self-knowledge. The important thing is not to fear this introspection and to be open to changing when necessary. Rejection, then, stops being an interruption and becomes a process of renewal, where we discover new strengths, skills, and paths. When we look at a painful experience with gratitude, something powerful happens. We transform scars into milestones of growth. Feeling gratitude for difficult situations does not mean ignoring the pain, but recognizing that they taught us valuable lessons and shaped our resilience. Each rejection faced leaves a mark, but when reinterpreting it with a grateful eye, it becomes evidence of overcoming. Stoicism teaches us that gratitude is an attitude that can be cultivated in any circumstance, including adversity. When we learn to be grateful for all experiences, including negative ones, they lose their power to bind us to the past. Instead of seeing a scar as a symbol of pain, we see it as proof that we survived and became stronger. Thus, gratitude is a tool that frees us from bitterness and opens us to the future with greater ease. With each resignified emotional scar, we gain a new perspective, new strength. What once seemed like a loss or disappointment turns into an impulse to move forward with more confidence and wisdom. The failures we face throughout life are often seen as endpoints, but in reality, they are just redirections towards new beginnings. Instead of defining ourselves by them, we can use them as guides that point us the way to opportunities we might never have considered. Every time something doesn't work out, we have the chance to re-evaluate and adjust our route, getting closer and closer to what's really important. The beauty of failures is the learning they offer. When we fail, we have the opportunity to improve our skills, to reflect on our decisions, and to understand what we really want. Failing is part of the growth process, and without these moments, we may never have had the courage to step out of our comfort zone and explore our true potential. Those who see failures as redirections develop a resilient mindset, ready to deal with any obstacle. They know that every fall is temporary and that true failure only occurs when we give up. Thus, failing stops being a fear and becomes a sign that we are in constant movement and learning. Resistance to rejection keeps us trapped in an illusion of control and the hope that we can change what is beyond our reach. However, when we accept that some things are not meant to be, we achieve an emotional release that allows us to move forward. Acceptance allows us to let go of the weight of what didn't work and make room for new possibilities. Accepting rejection is not a defeat, but an act of wisdom. It means that we are ready to recognize our limitations and value what really matters. When we stop fighting the inevitable, we free ourselves from other people's expectations and unnecessary pressure, focusing on what is really possible to achieve. True freedom comes from the ability to let go, to accept what we cannot change, and to embrace what we can still build. With this acceptance, rejection stops being a barrier and becomes a starting point for a new phase of growth and discovery. In the world where everyone seeks attention, authenticity becomes one of the rarest and most valuable traits. There's no need to beg for recognition when you live according to your own values and goals. Those who are authentic naturally attract people who truly appreciate their essence, while those who seek attention superficially end up getting lost in the mix. Being authentic is an act of courage, as it involves showing who you really are, without worrying about other people's approval. This sincerity with oneself is what builds true and lasting relationships, as people are attracted to those who remain true to what they believe in, regardless of external opinions. When you achieve authentically, your value is genuinely recognized. Instead of seeking approval, you attract it for who it really is. Authenticity is a powerful force that, in addition to gaining sincere attention, gives you an inner peace that external validation never achieves. In the face of frustration and rejection, one of the best ways to restore inner peace is to cultivate appreciation for the little things. Life is not just made up of great achievements, it is rich in simple and precious moments that we often ignore. Learning to rejoice in these moments teaches us to be more resilient and face challenges more lightly. By valuing the simple, we discover that happiness is closer than we imagine. A smile, a meeting with friends, a walk in nature, or even a moment of silence can bring a satisfaction that external recognition would never provide. This type of joy is authentic and is within our reach every day, regardless of the circumstances. When we learn to find contentment in the basics, rejections lose the impact they used to have. We come to see that happiness does not depend on big events, but on an attitude of gratitude and appreciation for what we already have. This mindset not only strengthens us, but also allows us to deal with adversity with a renewed perspective. Being surrounded by people who truly add value to your life is essential to maintaining your peace and personal growth. Those who devalue or ignore us do not deserve our time and energy, as these resources are limited and should be invested in those who truly support us. Learning to say no to what doesn't add value is an important step towards living authentically. Surrounding yourself with positive and inspiring people creates an environment where you feel motivated and supported to grow. This circle of support is like fuel for your self-esteem and resilience, because you know you have people by your side who really care about your well-being. Choosing these companies wisely is one way to protect your peace of mind. The quality of your relationships directly impacts your quality of life. By limiting yourself to people who add value, you build a solid support network that strengthens you to face any challenge. This environment of positivity not only uplifts you, but inspires you to be the best version of yourself. Having inner peace is one of the greatest victories we can achieve, and paradoxically, it does not need to be announced. Those who possess it radiate a serenity and security that words cannot express. Inner peace is the true triumph over adversity and allows us to deal with any rejection without losing our balance. Achieving this peace is a process that requires self-knowledge and acceptance. It means embracing our imperfections and understanding that not everything is under our control. By developing this serenity, we gain emotional protection against external influences, keeping us centered and focused on what really matters. Inner peace is a state that attracts admiration and respect, as it reflects a strength that few can achieve. When we find this tranquility, difficulties become lighter and we begin to face life with a more balanced and confident outlook. This triumph is silent, but it transforms everything around us. Each challenge that arises along the way is an opportunity to overcome yourself and demonstrate your own capabilities. Obstacles are inevitable, but how we deal with them is what defines who we are. With each obstacle overcome, we strengthen our self-confidence and expand our limits, becoming stronger and prepared for the next challenge. Overcoming yourself requires courage and persistence, but it also requires humility to recognize when we need help or a new strategy. These moments of self-overcoming are crucial steps on the path to self-knowledge and personal growth. When we propose to see each obstacle as a chance to improve, we transform adversity into an ally. Those who manage to overcome each difficult situation know that success is built little by little. With each challenge faced, we get a little closer to our goals and become better versions of ourselves. True victory lies in continuing to move forward, even when the path is arduous. His journey of overcoming can be a source of inspiration for those facing similar challenges. When we share our experiences and the lessons we've learned, we help others see that they too can overcome their own battles. Our story has the power to touch lives and offer hope to those who find themselves in difficult times. Inspiring others does not mean showing off, but allowing your journey to be proof that it is possible to overcome adversity. Often, what you experience can serve as a light for someone who is at the beginning of their own overcoming process. Your story could be the boost that person needs to believe in themselves. When we choose to share our journey authentically, we create a connection with those around us. This is one of the most beautiful ways to leave a legacy, because by inspiring other people, we multiply the positive impact of our own victories. Your story has the power to make a difference, so share it proudly. When we face rejections, it is natural to feel pain and frustration, but it is not always necessary to reveal our wounds. Instead, we can choose to convey the force we cultivate when overcoming them. Maintaining composure and dignity, even at difficult times, does not mean hiding what we feel, but showing that we are greater than any adversity. Demonstrating strength is not about hiding emotions, but about preserving our inner peace and finding a balance amid chaos. This posture helps us not become hostage to difficult times, and it is also a way to protect our personal growth. Showing resilience instead of pain inspires those around us and gives us a sense of control over our own narrative. When we choose not to expose our vulnerabilities for everyone, we protect our energy and we maintain the focus on what really matters. This attitude allows us to move on without letting ourselves lead for a passing time, and reinforces that we are able to face any obstacle with determination and serenity. True self-esteem is built from the inside out and does not depend on external validation. Each achievement, each skill developed, and each challenge overcome are like bricks that build our self-confidence in a solid and lasting way. This kind of self-esteem is unshakable, as it comes from the genuine recognition of who we really are and what we are able to accomplish. The self-esteem that depends on the opinion of others is fragile and can easily collapse in the face of criticism or rejection. The one that comes from our own internal achievements is resilient, as it has roots in our experiences and our personal growth. By focusing on building this authentic confidence, we become less vulnerable to external influences. Investing in yourself, in your education, in your talents and your mental health is the way to develop true self-esteem. This type of internal achievement is a source of security and satisfaction that no one can get from you. When your trust is anchored to who you are, it becomes a pillar that sustains your peace and happiness. Surrounding yourself with people who really care about you is critical to your emotional health. Healthy relationships are like fortresses that offer support and incentive in times of uncertainty. Knowing that you can count on friends and family that value you creates a solid base that strengthens your resilience and improves your quality of life. These relationships are built on trust, transparency, and mutual respect. When we face rejections, having people who really support us by our side helps us not to shoot us down and see the situation lighter and more positively. This circle of support keeps us firm and centered, reinforcing our self-esteem and our ability to deal with challenges. Healthy relationships not only offer support in times of difficulty, but also enhance our growth and happiness. Being surrounded by people who celebrate our achievements and inspire us to evolve makes rejections become insignificant. These connections are one of the greatest forces we can cultivate in our lives. Responding with kindness in the face of indifference or rejection is a powerful and rare attitude. Goodness is not a sign of weakness, but of maturity and self-control. Choosing to answer with kindness and respect instead of aggression or resentment shows that you have an unshakable inner force that does not depend on the attitudes of others. This approach is a true revolution as it breaks the negativity cycle. Instead of retalizing, you choose to maintain your dignity and preserve your peace, creating a barrier against negative energies. Goodness in this context is an act of empowerment and emotional control, as it demonstrates that you own your answers and emotions. By opting for kindness, you inspire those around you to act the same way. This posture has a positive impact that transcends the moment and can transform the environment and the people around it. Being kind, even when it is not easy, is proof of greatness and one of the most beautiful manifestations of self-confidence. Challenges, as scary as they may seem, often carry hidden opportunities. When we allow ourselves to face them as trampolines for growth, we transform difficult situations into enriching experiences. This look at challenges as opportunities allows us to learn and evolve in ways that may not be possible on an easy way. Each time we overcome an obstacle, expand our abilities, and become more prepared to deal with the uncertainties of life. Stoicism teaches us not to escape difficulties, but to face them head-on with courage and resilience. These moments of confrontation are the ones that strengthen us the most, for they forcing us to explore internal skills and resources that we perhaps did not even know existed. By seeing the challenge as an ally and not as an enemy, we develop a continuous growth posture. This mindset puts us in a constant state of evolution and adaptation, where each difficulty faced is one more step towards our best version. The ability not to react immediately to a provocation or rejection is one of the most powerful self-control tools. Often reacting impulsively puts us in situations of repentance and wears our energy. Stoicism teaches us that true power is to choose our responses consciously rather than allowing emotions to dominate us. When we choose not to react, we preserve our peace and maintain control over our actions. This self-control differentiates us and allows us to make more assertive and balanced decisions. The absence of reaction also shows others that you are emotionally mature and not easily shaken by negative situations. By developing this ability not to react immediately, you create a reflection space that allows you to evaluate the situation more clearly. This stance strengthens us and helps us act wisely and calmly, regardless of what others do or say. The silent force that comes from non-reaction is one of the greatest weapons to deal with any adversity. In a world where we are constantly encouraged to react and express opinions, silence can be a demonstration of strength and maturity. Stoicism values silence as a powerful answer, as it shows that we are not at the mercy of the provocations of others. Being silent, instead of retalizing, is a conscious choice that preserves our peace and dignity. Those who are able to silence in times of conflict show that they have a mastery over their emotions and are willing to preserve their energy. Silence allows the situation to dissipate without further feeding the conflict, creating a calmer and serene environment around us. Opting for silence is a sign of self-sufficiency, as it indicates that you do not need approval or the last word to feel safe. This emotional maturity is a virtue that few have and brings peace and respect to those who practice it. Silence in this context is a response that speaks louder than any argument. In a world where exposure seems to be norm, growing in secret becomes a powerful choice. Working in yourself and your goals without fuss creates a solid foundation for when it is time to flourish. This choice of discretion allows you to focus on what really matters, without distractions or the pressure of the expectation of others. Grow in secret protects us from negativity and unnecessary comparisons. This internal development, without the need for immediate recognition, makes each achievement even more rewarding. When the right time comes, its flowering will be natural and genuine, without the need to prove anything to anyone. Those who grow secretly experience deep and authentic maturity, as this process occurs in a space of peace and introspection. This type of growth creates strong and lasting roots that support success without depending on external validation. Being resilient is much more than resisting. It is the ability to redo and reinvent itself in the face of adversity. Resilience is the ability to transform difficult experiences into growth opportunities, absorb the lessons that life gives us, and emerge stronger with each fall. This is an art that requires practice and a positive attitude towards challenges. Each time you rise, you are training your mind and strengthening your spirit. Resilience teaches us to see obstacles as valuable experiences, where we have the opportunity to reinvent ourselves and discover new paths. True resilience is not to allow adversities to define who we are, but to use them as steps to reach a stronger and more confident version of ourselves. Those who dominate this art live with a special serenity, knowing that they are able to deal with any situation that life presents. Resilience prepares us to face the world with courage and makes us examples of overcoming for those around us. Each rejection we face offers us the chance to change and evolve. Instead of resisting it, we can embrace rejection as a call to transformation. This is the moment when we are invited to re-evaluate our choices, to reconnect with our values, and find new paths that are more aligned with who we really are. Stoicism teaches us that nothing is by chance, and that even the most painful experiences have something to teach us. By seeing rejection as an opportunity to grow, you turn a possible source of suffering into a thrust for personal improvement. This process of transformation requires courage, but it is also a journey of self-discovery that leads us to a state of maturity and fulfillment. Embracing rejection as an invitation to change is one of the most powerful forms of growth. Each no we receive is a chance to make ourselves stronger, wiser, and more authentic. In the end, we realized that each rejection was essential to become who we are and to lead us to our true path.